Ah, all right. So today is about becoming a practitioner. Oh, that's kind of exciting. So we're going to cover off a bunch of different things, and then we're going to allow space for questions closer towards the end as well. So if you if there's any questions you want to ask, maybe kind of like you can put them in the chat box, or if we don't get to them, like make notes so that you remember, and we will answer them more towards the end. Basically, I'm going to lead us, but all of the other mentors and Jamie as well will like pipe in with different things and give their opinions or their views or their different ways of working, or any other tips or any other ways that they want to be able to support you through this journey. And so I know some of you are coming towards birthing, and some of you are coming towards coming through the journey again. So we've got a mixture of everything in the space, which is super awesome. I think what I would love to do actually is to allow, because I've spoken to almost all of you, like with voice messages or whatever, and we've had our conversations on where you're feeling, whether you're feeling birthing or whether you're feeling coming through again. I think what would be really nice is to give you the space to be able to say that collectively to the group, and just to allow everybody to support you and celebrate you in whatever your choice is. And so what I'm really loving through each of these rounds and each of these journeys in watching everybody is the experience of why people feel ready and are like, yes, oh my God, I'm ready. And then the honoring of when women are saying, actually, I know I'm not ready, and I know it's not time to birth, and I'm gonna like really respect that and trust that and wait. And so it's really beautiful feeling the different energies that come in. So I really want to say that as we come through and ask each person like where you're at, whether you're birthing or whether you're not birthing, it's just such a deep honoring for you, trusting your own body's wisdom and trusting where you're currently at in this process, and where you're going. So I really want to deeply honor each of you for that, because when we've had the conversations or the chat threads, I can feel each of you you're taking it seriously. You're really considering what's the best option for you. And to me, that's a freaking powerful practitioner. That's a powerful practitioner in this work, is someone who is able to feel it in their body and say, oh, like the pulse is with me, the ecstatic current is with me, the birthing is with me, and I'm birthing, or is able to say, oh, I'm nurturing in this space and I'm coming through again. And so to me, that's like the powerful start of you stepping onto this path of becoming a practitioner. So I would love to have you voice that in here. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to say your names so that we just come through in order, and you can just unmute yourselves and let us know. You're allowed to, you can just say birthing or not birthing, or you can say your reasons why, whatever feels true for you in this moment. So Sophie, you're first on my screen, so we'll start with you.
Good morning. I have known since the start that I will be coming through a second time, and I'm really, really excited about it. I feel like this was such a perfect like introduction and experience, and I can't wait to come through again.
Beautiful. Thank you, darling. Amanda.
I have decided to birth this time, and for me that's taken a lot of courage to step into that and choose no more hiding. So I can just feel it in my womb, like I'm just ready to birth.
Beautiful. Thank you. Melanie.
Hello. I am coming back around for a second, which I'm excited for. I knew from the beginning, but didn't want to I'm coming back around and I'm really excited. I feel like the first round was really helpful with how overwhelming I find life. So it's really cool to have the opportunity to come through again and feel supported in that and not at all judged. So I love it. Now see you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Rachel.
Hi. I'm choosing to come through again, but I'm choosing to take a whole round off and to come through in June, which is so edgy for me who wants everything done yesterday. And that's why, because I just am like, I'm so ready to integrate all of this with my own wisdom for 6 months and then come back with the lens of I'm now coming through as a practitioner because I'm fully integrated personally. So that for me feels really powerful because that's like a big lesson for me this round. So celebrating taking a whole extra year basically. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. And that is like such a beautiful, brave decision and totally suits where you're at. So thank you so much. Hafida.
I'm birthing this time. Already contracting, feeling the nervousness, so birthing. Birthing so many things that this is one of the pieces that I'm so nervous and so ready that I just have to lean into this. So yeah, birthing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, darling. And thank you for sharing that you're nervous and for allowing us to feel you in that. Thank you. Sarah.
I'm fighting back tears. My whole world has been blown apart, blown open this past week. I'm definitely birthing. I'm so incredibly grateful for the opportunity to have been able to come back through and journey this with all of you again. I really felt like I embodied the work beforehand, but my nervous system needed time to, my soul needed time to really land and just come to a place of wholeness and completeness. So yes, I'm birthing, and if and when there's a place, I would love to also support.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing that into the space as well, and for claiming what you'd like to do, for asking for what you want. Okay, I really respect that. Thank you. Carmen.
So this has been like a really tricky decision. Well, not tricky in the sense that initially I was like, I'm definitely not birthing this round. I'm not ready, not going to do it. And then I've like realized that it was a pattern that I would run around just not feeling ready and then just procrastinating on doing anything. And then I was like, to not do that, I'm birthing. And then I've been sitting with it again. And then I'm noticing now there's a rush, there's often a rush to get things done, like to tick them off, but then not have fully completed them. So I haven't actually 100% decided what I'm doing, if I'm birthing or not birthing, because I want to make sure that it's 100% the right decision and I'm not doing it from feeling like I'm not enough, because I know that even in this moment I have all that I need, but I want to make sure that I am fully embodied, and also holding like the power and energy that this work has to completely as well. So I want to make sure that I'm doing this work justice as well. So I want to sit with that for a little bit longer.
Beautiful. Thank you. Deep respect for the fact that you're dancing with two different patterns that you're running, and really feeling the truth in that. And so, yeah, thank you for knowing that you're not ready to decide yet. Super appreciate that as well. Paige.
I feel like my my focus and devotion for the work, for the womb work, and for this container, it had a kind of a waning period a few months ago. I needed to help my children make some major life transitions, and as I was transitioning them into their new life, I was also feeling all this pressure. And I was like, is this transition? Because I'm about to go into birth. So much pressure. I thought maybe I was being like squeezed through the birth canal. But so even though I feel like maybe that's what it was, what it has been, it's resolving a little bit. So it might have been a false labor. I would like to go into birthing far more intentionally, and I have been a little bit segmented in my life as well, where I'm living a little bit different life in different circles or with different people, and I want a complete integration when I come into something that I take very seriously, like womb work and like any kind of practitioner work. That's finally starting to happen for me, where I don't feel the need to switch it up, where I can just stand in my truth anywhere with anyone. So what I would like to do is to cement certain pieces as the next group goes through, so that I can birth next time. Also, I'm really still in the process of having a deep connection with my womb. So I'm listening now, which is a big step. I didn't listen a lot before, so I'm in tune with her, and I'm able to make decisions based on listening. So that's still a new practice for me, and I would like that to be a very regular part of my life before I take other people through womb spiral. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, darling. I'm really loving hearing all of your well thought out and well felt out answers. This is really profound. It's beautiful. Carly.
Hi. So I was going to birth, and then today I decided I'm not going to birth. I just moved to my new place, and I've only been here 3 days, and everything is slowing down so much in my life, and it's becoming so incredibly simple, that I feel like I need to be like an elephant and have an extra long gestation. And my winter, like, I'm literally living in the forest in a tiny little camper, and I'm just cocooning myself all winter. So I feel like it would be premature, yeah, for me to birth right now. Yeah, so I feel, yeah, going through it again as I moved to my Venus descendant line. That's what I moved here for. And I feel like the energy of this land and going through the womb spiral again will, serve me deeply. Yeah.
Mhm. Beautiful. Feeling what a different energy space you're sitting in. As soon as you unmuted yourself, I got covered in goosebumps of feeling the energy of where you are. Woo! You too, Jamie. Like, that's like wherever you are is powerful, and I wish I could come get on a plane and come feel that land. It's freaking amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I can see Sarah shared something in the comments. I don't know if you want to come on. Okay, breakfast time with 3 kids, right? Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so we will have a chat together, Sarah, and yeah, if it's breakfast time with 3 kids, I can understand you probably don't want to unmute. I mean, you're welcome to if you want to. We don't care. I don't think anyone here has a problem with noise of children, but I understand. So, oof. I feel very touched right now by hearing all of your answers and your decisions, and just feeling the absolute deep freaking integrity in this container of women. Like, I really, really feel so deeply touched at the quality of work that we're bringing into the world, and how deeply you are all feeling that, and how I can really feel each of you is considering, like, where are you at? And those who are birthing, I can really feel that you're taking this seriously, and that you're in it. And those who are waiting, I can really feel that it's out of integrity and honor for the work. And that to me is just like, it's really fucking beautiful to feel a group of women who are able to hold so much integrity for a body of work, and also for themselves and for each other. That to me is fucking profound. And that's the reason that I do this work. And so to feel that you're all really getting it, that to me is like just cracking me wide open. So thank you so much to each of you for really showing up for yourself, and to really showing up for this work. Like, this is how we make the movement. And that's the piece that I really have been seeing and feeling for this work is, yes, it's a modality, and yes, it's a piece of work, but it's so much more than that. It's a movement of women who are doing amazing stuff in the world, and who are really, really tuned in. And so that to me, like, feeling you all in your shares today, that's the movement. There's not one of you that just went, oh yeah, I'm just going to birth just because, you know, or no, I'm not going to birth because I can't be bothered. Like, I've really fucking felt you all. So thank you to each and every one of you for how you're showing up. And I'm really, really, really fucking proud and honored to walk beside each of you. Like, really, truly am. No matter where. And when I say walk beside, I really mean that. I don't mean like, oh, the ones who are practitioners and birth and mentors that I'm walking beside. I'm walking beside each and every one of you. And that, I am so fucking deeply honored and proud of that. So thank you. So the birthing ritual, which is not this weekend, but next weekend, whether you are choosing to birth or not, like, I would love if you can be at the birthing ritual. If you're not birthing and you can't make it, it's okay, but please do, like, really only come if it's like, I can't be there. There's some reason that I can't. It's always a beautiful and profound journey. It's different every time. It kind of creates itself as we move through. One of the pieces that I really want you to receive from it is that we take you through a journey through the gates, and we do that at least twice. I think last time we did it 2 or 3 times, so that you really start to get how they all the gates go together instead of working with one. And there's plenty more that happens in those 4 days, but that's a really, really important piece. So no matter where you are in your journey, that will that will be a real gift for you to feel how they all work together and to open up the gates together. So if for any reason you won't be at it or you can't be at it, please make sure that you let your pod leaders know so that we can do our planning and be prepared for who's going to be there. Okay, so I feel like after that emotional experience, I feel like I'm ready to start to go into the more technical kind of side of things. So some of you have not yet done womb spiral. Some of you have done womb spiral one-on-one, and some of you have done it in retreat style with me. So for some of you, you're not really going to actually get like what the hell is a session even, like how do I structure a session? What's in a session? So I do want to talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk a little bit about the like taking care of yourself, deciding how many clients you take on at any given time. I want to share a little bit about how to speak your message, like how to share, promote, but like really it's magnetize in and share with the world. And then like just any kind of general tips that the mentors have, and then we'll open up to any questions. So it's kind of where we're going to go for the next little while. So session structure, you're doing a minimum of 7 sessions, if not 8 or 9, but an absolute minimum of 7 because there's 7 gates. You're doing 1 gate in each session. Personally, depending on where the client is at, I might do a session before, a kind of get to know you, a set intentions, a really start to drop in and understand more. Like if it's a person who has possibly deep trauma, or it's a person, for example, I'm taking through my non-binary person right now. We did like a session before so that I can understand more about who they are, any languaging that might not feel appropriate for them and might kind of throw them out during a session, any trauma spots that may arise. So, and for other clients, I don't do that. So it's not a have to, but it's a dance and a feel with that. You might just do that at the beginning of your first session and kind of set your intentions together. There's no kind of set rule on that, but personally, I have been starting to do the one before, and I think it's really, really nice to just get to know them because we're jumping on that first session straight into trust. So if it's a client who's never met you before, or a client who might have some trust issues, spending some time creating some trust with them at the start can make a really big difference, rather than just, hey, we're 5 minutes into our first session and now I want to talk about your yoni, lips and trust. It can help to start to create that bond first. Then your 7 sessions, so 1 gate for each week. So that's probably important for me to specify because I know there's some people who are not yet spiral practitioners. We're not doing it like over 7 days or over a few days. Like when you do the retreat, you do it with me in 4 days. That at the moment, myself and soon to be Jamie are the only ones that are able to hold it in that retreat style. Actually, Jamie, we need to have that conversation again. We've talked about it a few times and never officially had it, so we need to have that one. Maybe with this birthing retreat, that's you birthing into that aspect of it. For everybody else, it's once a week. The preference really is to keep it once a week. If you make it more than once a week, if you start spreading it out to 2 weeks, for some people that might be too much to be within that gate for 2 weeks. So you would really need to, if that's something you wanted to do, I would ask you to talk to me first about what other support it is that you were offering and why you were doing it over 2 weeks instead of over 1. And maybe I'll agree with you. And then at the end, doing an integration session. So really just checking in, have they integrated? Is there anything else that needs to be done in order to be able to close this container for them? Checking in, like, how are they? Is everything, is their world kind of settling, that we haven't left them a little bit upside down? So that's kind of the structure around the sessions. And then within a session, we will give you a very clear, there's going to be like a kind of manual that you get after, like once you've birthed, you get what do you call it, a practitioner pack. That's the word I think that we've called it. Julie, is that right? I think we've called it a practitioner pack. That will give you very clearly some guidelines on that, but just to kind of touch on it right now. It is very similar to a spiral session for those who are spiral practitioners. Those who are not, that part won't even make sense. So really at the beginning of a womb spiral session, for me, the biggest part is getting them to drop into their body as much as they can. Now, understanding for some people, that's even you just saying, bring your attention to your yoni lips. It's going to be like, whoa, that's profound. I've never thought about bringing my attention to one part of my body. For other clients, you'll be able to get them to touch and to breathe and to drop in as deeply as you possibly can, get them into their body and into that particular gate. So when we're working with the gates, we want to be able to activate the energy of that gate as much as we can, and therefore it will activate their stuff, I guess, and kind of bring it up into the space. And so that's I guess, you know, the deepest intention with getting them to drop into their body. Then we're doing 3 root clears. For those who are like, what the hell are root clears? We're about to drop a video in here in I think about 2 weeks that teaches you all about root clears. And I think at this point, the deepest one will be, Amanda, you and I might do a one-on-one session specifically about that as well, just to really make sure that I've given you everything that you need and all the support you need to, I know you already know, like you've already been doing self-clearing, but I think we'll just do one to really support you with that before you birth or as you birth. And at the end of the session, we're spending some time doing some integration. So I know I've been super like loose with that of like, oh, I don't know, we just drop in and do 3 root clears and integrate, but I want to leave that a little open for the moment because I want to open the space and hear as well from Zoe and hear from Jamie and hear from Isadora. And if Bridget's got something to add in as well, like I would like to open that space to let them share what is their transmission around holding a session, and within that kind of framework, how are they doing this work? So do any of you feel to kind of go first and share any tools or tips that you use during a session? Yeah, Jamie.
Yes, so I do similar to Zafaria, and I actually do it over 9 sessions. So I do have the initial session just to get comfortable, drop in, discuss anything that's, you know, moving in the space, really get clear on intentions. And share, you know, it's like create the framework for the journey so that when we step into that first session, we can get right into the clearing and leave as much space open for that part of it. The 7 gates, and then I do an integration session. With each gate that I go through, we talk about, you know, the themes of the gate and what's going on with that. So at the end of each gate, we together create kind of a reframe statement from where they were before to what they're claiming now after clearing the gate. And that's what I use in the integration session, is I statement clear each of those statements and those reframes that we created together to clean up, you know, anything that gets triggered along the way, because it's like they're so intertwined that maybe at gate 1 the statement's clear, but in gate 6 it, you know, it kind of shakes some things up or something. So and it's been really powerful also to utilize those reframes to bring the client back to what the intention was in the journey and what they've been creating all the way through. And I really love having the structure of an integration session, because it used to be like, whatever we need to do, which, you know, kind of went all over the place. And I really love bringing them back to the intentions they started with and making sure that all of that has landed fully by the end of the journey. So that is the way that I structure my journeys.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Zoe. And I'd love to hear, because Zoe, you do yours a little bit differently as well. So as Zoe comes in to share as well, just share. So she does groups, it's one-on-one clearing, but she holds a group container through at the same time. And so just to speak on that a little bit, that's like she's asked for permission if she's ready to kind of hold that size group. So although you come out of this able to hold one-on-one sessions, you are also able to come to me if you feel like I'm ready to hold one-on-one sessions, but a group through the process at the same time, which I'll let Zoe talk into. But you're welcome. Like when you feel ready, like actually I feel ready to hold this type of container, you are welcome to kind of bring that to me and we have that conversation and see like, are you ready? So thanks, Zoe.
Thank you. Yeah, so the way that I structure my journeys is a little bit different. Like I've done it through the sort of 7 to 9 one-on-one sessions per week, but it didn't really feel right for me. I love like group connection, and I also felt like I want to go deep with this journey, so I wanted to extend it. And something I ran by Zephyria, so please always do that if you want to change anything. So I do my journeys over 4 months, and we spend 2 weeks in each gate, but the first week is a group session where we do like a group transmission. We do like a check-in, share how everyone's going, everyone gets to know each other, and then I guide them through like a kind of like a meditation, but it's really to activate the gate and to activate the transmission of the gate. And then so it's like, okay, so this is what we're dropping in with this. Yeah, so we do the group session, and then the following week is all of their one-on-one sessions, where we do the one-on-one clearing. They have a Facebook group that they all interact in throughout. And it kind of goes like that throughout the journey. So 2 weeks in each gate with a transmission call and like group check-in and sharing, and then a one-on-one session. And then the final 2 sessions are a group embodiment journey. So this is something that I felt really comfortable to do and got permission with Zephyria to guide them through a physical journey through the gates. It's like a really beautiful kind of group pleasure, but embodiment journey. And then the final integration session, which is one-on-one. So I really love doing it this way because I feel like the group space really helps to, like there's just such a potent energy that carries everybody through. It also really helps with healing like the sisterhood wounding, and you get to see that you're not alone, because a lot of my clients don't have people in their lives that get it. They don't understand what this work is. So coming to the space like has been one of the favorite things of my clients, is like having a group to come to. I have them fill a questionnaire in at the start, which might be something similar to, I don't know if you guys had to fill something in before you did the apprenticeship, can't remember. But lots of questions about the connection to the womb, to pleasure, to like all the different gates. So it's just a really in-depth questionnaire. And that's something we revisit in the integration session, which is like my favorite thing. So we do the integration, check in, any final clears. What I do is kind of in the integration session is check in with each of the gates and see how integrated are we out of 100% in relation to our journey, and then tidy up anything that we need to. And then I'm like, cool, the fun part is let's revisit this questionnaire that you filled out 4 months ago. And so I ask them the same questions and get them to answer it now. And that is like, it's like a before and after picture. And there's even a rating system of like rate your relationship to your womb or your lips out of 1 to 10. And when they started, it's like a 1. And now like I just did one the other day and she was like, I know, is there like 1,000 plus? Like, can I do that? Like, so that's, I really love that as part of the integration session. Yeah, so that's really what works well for me. I also have a journal that they fill out throughout. So there's an online journal in like G Drive, which I have access to, they have access to, which helps them to kind of record their journey and process. I send follow-up emails after the session as well, is like just to kind of like quick recap of what we did, some of the things that we stood out, what you know, what they're stepping into, and any like specific integration tasks. that I want them to do. In the Facebook group, I have this is where I share all resources, like some of Zafiria's resources of meditations and like everything, like just anything that will support them. Yeah, so I do structure my journey a bit different, but that's what feels really good for me. I love the depth that we can go over that 4 months. And yes, I also have a feedback form that I send now at the end. And so this is what I use for testimonials, but also any suggestions that they have for future journeys. So that has been really helpful. And in the sessions specifically, I always have the same sort of opening meditation and closing ritual. I find that like the body responds really well when there's consistency. And as soon as I say, like, they get so used to it that as soon as I drop them in with the same meditation, they're just like, Lord. And as soon as I close with the same like closing ritual, they're just like, yes, we're good. So I do have like touch points throughout the session, which are all very consistent. But a lot of it is kind of intuitive depending on what's coming up for them. Keep going, but I'm going to like leave it there. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Awesome, thank you. It's perfect. So you can start to feel like so far as each person's sharing, we have different ways of working, right? And so one of the things with this work is there's a set structure, and you also get to bring in like what is your creative energy and what is your creative flow, and preferably obviously in communication with me about that. But like I know a lot of you have other work that you do that would work quite well with this. So Isadora, do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Yes, thank you. So right now I'm offering, I do 10 weeks with people, and we have an opening ceremony where we really set intention. Yeah, I guide them through a whole ritual in the beginning, and we just really get to know each other and open the space. And like Zoe, they fill out a lot before, so there's a lot of kind of work that leads up to the actual start. And so yeah, I do the 7 sessions, and then there's a bonus integration clearing session that I kind of feel into that with them, where we put that in the journey. Like one woman I just finished with, she was like, no, I want to go through and then have that at the end. And then the closing ceremony, another woman wanted to go through that integration after the cervix, because so much came up in that gate. There was more to look at. So I like to have just an open session also to just process and journey everything and bring it back into alignment. Something really fun that I've just collaborated with my herbalist friend on is she and I created womb spiral flower essence kit that I send to all my clients. So there's a flower essence for every gate. And it's so supportive. Your clients, they can have it, it lasts, just a tiny bottle lasts so long. You just need 1 or 2 drops. But so they journey with this flower essence. My friend and I channeled these different herbs that come up throughout the gate, and then they can keep that, after. So if they're like, okay, I really need to connect in with the womb gate today, it's like, and it brings you right there. And other things I really love, like I love sharing music. So I create playlists for all of my people, and there's always like an integration song. I just feel like music is so grounding. And then I'll send them a lot of extra videos, or like for example, for the cervix gate, I'll send them my breast massage video. So I encourage a lot of different practices that I integrate. And yeah, I think I'm wanting to expand to kind of like Zoe, like do a longer, maybe 4 months, add a few more bonus sessions. And I think bring in more of the cycles, and bring in Ayurveda. Like I can see how I could combine a lot of things I'm doing into a bigger program. But I personally love the 10 weeks. 7 or 8 was always too short for me. And the 10 is kind of like a sweet spot. And yeah, but kind of similar to what other things that have been said. It's nice to have a journal. It's nice to have a place for them to reflect for before, during, and after. And then, yeah, I think I feel complete. 444 here. Here we
Perfect timing. Bridget, do you have anything you want to add to this part?
Yeah, I'd really love to add something about our own self-care before how we set up our space. How do we set up, how do we honor our own temple before we actually go into our sessions? And I guess that's relevant for anything that we do, really. It's like, how do we set up our own temple? You know, do we light candles? Do we cleanse our bodies? Like all of those things I feel are very important for any session. So, you know, for me, I use smudge, I light candles, I have a little altar that I always set up before I do my sessions. Those things feel really important because, you know, I have my own beautiful drops that I've had made up from a practitioner that helps me to sort of, you know, really hold to my own energy once I've finished a session. So we're all going to find our own way in doing those things, but I feel that's a really, really important part of us, you know, holding true to our own wombs and then bringing our connection of our own womb into our own sessions. So and I feel that's just as important to begin our sessions, to set our own space, as it is to close our sessions, and to honor, you know, our womb connection in the space. So yeah, that's my piece that I'd like to add in there. And that can be anything, you know. It's even like, you know, I'm in a studio here, so to cross into my threshold into my studio before I do any session, it's like, okay, so what am I bringing today? What do I want to hold for myself? What do I want to hold for my client? When I light my candle, it's always about my intention about what is it that I want to bring me personally, and then what do I want to hold? What's my intention to hold for my client? So it all gets held before I even begin. So yeah, and I often find that the energy is always there even before I like cross the threshold into my studio. It's like, oh, okay, here it is. It's here. This is what I'm holding. So yeah, and I guess it's just about really, the other piece is about holding true to what I know. Like, what am I bringing? Okay, so what is that? And then always remaining curious. That's the other piece. It's like, bring that curiosity, remaining curious about what it is that's here. And yes, it's mine. Yes, it's the client's, but the curiosity is just, that openness of curiosity is beautiful, because it allows so much to open into our sessions. So yeah, that's what I'd love to bring.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You totally felt where I was hoping this would go next, which was into kind of self-care and rituals. So thank you. I really appreciate you bringing that in, because it is extremely important. I also really appreciate you bringing in the openness piece, and I would like to speak into that a little bit as well, of the importance of that, obviously in all of our work, but especially in this work. So thank you very much for bringing that in. In this work, we have to be prepared for anything. Anything could come into your session. Your client could tell you something that really shocks the pants off you, and you need to be in an energetic space where you don't react. So for example, if I'm sitting here holding space and my client starts to tell me, I don't know, some really intense sexual trauma, I need to be okay to hold that space without going, oh my God, oh, did that happen to you? Tell me more. Or to go, even on an energetic place, right? And so we need to be consistently doing our own work, because let's be honest, those of us that have been called into doing this work and into holding this work, many of us have experienced that in our own lives, which is why we're being called into here. So consistently doing your own work around what could come up for you and holding a session for somebody else, so that you can hold completely clear energy. And I also I don't do it anymore, but I used to because I've moved through a lot of sexual trauma in my own life and a lot of healing around that. And when I first started out with this work, is I used to set the intention before I started that if anything comes up into this session that might impact, trigger, activate my own pieces, that it rests to the back and that it doesn't impact my session, and that after my session, then I can bring that forward to be able to be seen for me. So if there's anything in your own experience that's like actually something could come up in a session that might make me feel uncomfortable or might trigger me, I found that intention used to be really powerful. And what it definitely has done, and I've done a lot of work around that. And I guess like the best example to give right now is like I'm holding this non-binary kind of leaning towards trans person. And one of the feedbacks that I've had from them is that it's the first time they've felt completely seen and not judged in any way and completely understood by anybody. And that is because I've done a lot of work around making sure that people can say anything to me in a session. And even on an energetic level, I'm not going, right? And so it's doing this consistent work around being able to witness what comes through for you, and can you hold a completely open space for anything that comes in. I have been told some really intense stories of people, so you might also have that same experience. So always before coming into a session is setting that intention of I'm fully here, I'm a clear vessel, I'm a clear vessel in this space, and I'm fully here for this client. And they will be able to hold 110% safe energy for this client. And if you feel like anything of yours might come up, and mine will sit to the back until I'm ready to collect it after the session, because they will feel it, or they see the micro expressions on your face when you go, they see it. And so for us to hold that totally non-judgmental space in this work is incredibly, incredibly important. And to me, it comes with the self-care, and it comes with the consistent showing up and moving through your own stuff, consistently being connected to your body, consistently being able to feel something's moving for me right now. I'm responsible to move that, and to not come into a session with our own shit activated and our own stuff. Like I also remember it, like I used to have to, you know, I would do pillow bashing before or after a session, or just to really move my energy and make sure that there was nothing in my field before I came and sat in that session. And to me, that really keeps the depth of integrity in this work. I want to just see if any other women want to add anything to self-care or ritual. Yeah, Zoe, go for it.
Yeah, just sort of going from what you were saying about like ritualizing this work is really important to me. Like ritual before a session, after, even when I'm calling my clients in, there's always ritual. And so some things that setting intentions, not just with your client, but before your session. And so, because there is so much that could come up in one session, and I really love my sessions to feel very clear and very like potent, but it's not jumbled, and it's not messy, and it's not like scrambled. And so I always set the intention for clear, concise, and true information that is relevant for the most profound amount of transformation with the least amount of destabilization. And so it's like I'm setting and opening this container for true, clear, concise information. Most profound amount of transformation with the least amount of destabilization. So only what is relevant to the most profound amount of transformation within this gate is going to come up in this session. And so that, for me, that's really important. So yeah, just like dropping in beforehand, but also then, yeah, self-care and clearing afterwards. And I think the best thing that you can do is to, like, for me, this work has become like a way of life. It's like, I don't just visit, I visit these gates every day. Like I'm guided by these gates in my womb daily. Like this is not work I feel like you can hold if you're not embodying it in your own personal life. The more you are embodying this work in your own personal life and allowing it to take you deeper and into deeper integrity and alignment, the more profoundly you can hold somebody through this work. So like my biggest encouragement is that you don't just connect to this work in your sessions, that this is part of your life, and allow it to like be present in when I start my day, and like my morning rituals, like I'm tuning in with my womb and tuning in with this work and tuning in with my gates. And I do like self-pleasure journeys throughout the month where I'm working with the gates in a similar way that you will, when you do the birthing experience. And so it's like, yeah, I feel like the biggest self-care is to let like these gates are here to teach you and hold you and take you deeper into deeper integrity and alignment always. So like, yeah, what you do outside of your sessions for yourself personally is going to support you in a really profound way as a practitioner, because this is not work that you teach from the mind, it's transmitted from the body. So the deeper it is in the body, the deeper the transmission and the more profound transformation you have in your sessions. So yeah, it's like I just weave this into all my self-care, my morning rituals, my nightly rituals, my setting up for my sessions, cleansing after sessions. Yeah, so I just wanted to add that.
Beautiful, thank you. Appreciate that. You will notice a big difference in your work if you continue to tune into the gates for yourself and to the womb for yourself if you don't. I remember about a year ago now, I went through a really, really stressful period and I wasn't doing my normal practices that I would be doing. And I noticed a difference in my sessions to when I started to come back to my practice again. It's really, really interesting. So it's like continually bringing yourself back to that practice because it makes a huge difference. Thank you, Zoe. Does anyone else want to add to that, Bridget? Yeah.
The other thing that just keeps ringing for me as everybody's speaking is, I feel that this also, I step over my threshold, I come into my studio and I do my sessions, that builds trust. So I start with trust as I walk over my threshold, and I hold trust so that my clients have this sense of trust in the space, so they're truly able to feel the transmission that I'm fully embodied and actually here and present for them. And there's that incredible richness is how they feel us. It doesn't matter whether we're face to face, like physically, or here in online. I feel that trust is so important, and the more we embody that, the more they feel us. It doesn't matter how we do our sessions. So yeah, that was the other piece that I wanted to drop.
Beautiful, thank you, appreciate that. I feel like I'm going to just bring in one other topic, and then I think I'm just going to open back to each of the women to share anything else that you feel like you want to share. So when you birth, when you become a practitioner, you get a practitioner pack, as I said before. So we give you all of the things and all of the examples of what you might need. So we give you examples of questionnaires, and we give you examples of contracts, and we give you examples of how you would run a session, and we give you examples of some self-care rituals that you might do, or some rituals you might do pre or post, or some other resources that you might give to your clients, some examples of playlists. So we really give you as much support as we possibly can. When you birth, that comes in through your dashboard. So you will end up with access to a special practitioners section that has all of the resources. We're currently building that. And so it's likely that you'll also have things from the mentors in there as well as me. So, yeah, so we're currently building that on our end at the moment. You will also, we're going to reactivate, it's been a bit quiet. We have a Facebook community group of clients. When we have taken clients through Womb Spiral, we're looking to revamp that and reactivate that so that there is support there for your clients and for them to be able to talk to other people who are going through or have been through Womb Spiral. So that is coming. We are looking at, it probably won't happen until next year, but we are going to build a website as well that will list all of the practitioners, what your skills are, what areas you work in, when you do your programs, how you do them, all that kind of thing will end up being listed on a website. Yeah, more than likely next year. Don't freak out, Julie. It's okay. I'm not going to ask for that next week. Julie's so used to me being like, so we're going to build like a website and we're going to give it to you next week. Hey, Julie, can you build a website? So I'm learning. I'm getting so much better. I am getting so much better. I'm actually just giving her better time frames now. What was the other thing that I want to tell you? You also get access to, if you want it, to a dashboard, like to how we have like members.temple of Aramella, and then / your name that you can give to your clients, that has all of the gates in it and has resources for each gate in it as well. So if you're not the type of person, or you can use it as well as, but also if you're not the type of person who's like, I don't really want to have to build all my resources for my clients, but I want to be able to give them stuff that is already pre-made for you. So you get that as well. And we're consistently building on that. But that has, for example, me giving a transmission of all the gates. It has a bunch of meditations for each gate, and we're just kind of slowly building on that as well. And then the last piece as well is that there's which we haven't been using it much, but we're going to start to use it, there is a practitioners Facebook group. Actually, I might make it into a chat thread instead, but you get consistent support to talk to all the other practitioners and to me as well. If like, this thing came up in the session, I don't know, how do you manage this? So you get all of that as well. So please, if you're kind of like, oh wow, this has been a lot of information and I don't really know if I can remember all of that, and it's all a lot, we are there to fully support you as much as possible through that process and give you every resource that you could need. So I feel like what I would love to do is, you're welcome to put any questions in the chat box, or you can still hold them, but I'm just going to open up to each of the mentors and also to Jamie, and just see if there's any other tips that they would like to give you. So maybe Jamie, do you want to share anything you'd like to share? Yeah.
I don't know that there's specific tips, but maybe just reminder that this is, the feminine path, and that it is ever changing, and that, most importantly, to stay present with what is alive with any client in any particular session, in your own journey. And that it will look different for each of us, so while each of us share a bit about the way we do it, I always want to remind people coming in that it's important not to get into this like comparison of like, oh, am I doing it that way? Am I doing, should I be, as opposed to like really just coming to your own center and honoring what feels right for you, and giving you permission or reminder or whatever it is that you need to create that space for yourself. And then secondly, a direct invitation to lean into this sisterhood in this space as well. There are times in my life where I don't know how I would have done life without the ability to call on these women and just cry, or ask for support, or share a win and feel celebrated. There's so much love in this space. And while we're all doing similar work, there is a deep support for each other. And, it's not like this vying for resources, but this recognition that we all rise together, and it rings true here, truer than I've ever felt it in any other space that I've shared with women. So, just a reminder and an invitation that that's what this space really is. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My whole body's feeling that. Like I'm the same as well. There's definitely times I'm not sure how I would have coped without being able to lean into the support of the women in this space. So absolutely. Isadora, oh no, good. Zoe, do you want to add anything?
Always. Do I want to add anything? I always want to add something. I have a whole list of things that I wrote down earlier. Couple of things, like I really love, Jamie, what you brought in about bringing your own like flavor to this work, like, and not getting stuck in comparison. Like I feel like I've really now coming into my third round of taking women through is like, oh, I really found my flavor and I really found the way that I want to sort of hold this work. Like I was reading a feedback form yesterday, and one of my questions is like, what's your favorite thing or about working with Zoe? So I love a bit of recognition, but I also just like want to know what people like about working with me. And one of the responses was, I was surprised at how hilarious I am and how funny, like how much fun and humor I bring to what I do. So just also like, yes, this is very serious work, but it doesn't have to be all so serious. Like we don't have to take ourselves so spiritually all the time. You know, there can be fun and laughter and humor, and so it's like I bring so much of my personality to what I do, and I feel like that's why a lot of people resonate with me. So yeah, full permission to bring your personality. Couple of other things that might be helpful when like deciding how many clients you want to take on, or like pricing, things like that. I muscle test a lot of what feels like is in my highest alignment, but I have quite a few offerings in my business, and so I don't like to have sessions scattered throughout the week. That spreads myself thin. I hate that, and that's just my personal preference. So I have 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which are womb spiral days, and I don't like to do more than 3 sessions a day. That's my capacity. There's no need for me to push myself. Other people can do so much more and be in full energy, but 3 is my capacity. So therefore 6 clients is my maximum per round, and that feels really good to me in a group, and it's small enough for them to be able to really connect intimately. So those are some things you might want to think about before taking clients on, is how many days do I want to dedicate this, and how many clients do I want to be doing in a day? What feels good to my energy? And like one more thing that I'll share when talking about this work, when advertising this work, when sharing your services, is to come from inspiration and magnetism, not desperation. And like trying to get clients and get people can be really easy when you're starting to bring this work to the world, to want to get a really positive response. And so I'm just noticing the state that I'm in always when I share. Is it alive? Is it like, am I inspired? Do I feel juicy? Am I turned on? Or am I desperate? Am I like trying to force content? Am I trying to like get clients? Am I trying to just think of something to put out there that might be inspiring? It's like noticing the energy that I'm in. This is like really the womb, the difference between like longing and being in the magnetism, or the needing and the desperation. And so, yeah, I truly, if I'm ever in like, oh, I really need to actually share something, I don't share anything. So I just want to sort of put that into the space as well, is noticing the state that you're in when you're sharing or speaking about this work is really important. And the best thing that you can do is share when something's feeling really alive and you're really inspired and you're feeling juiced up and excited. Or even like sometimes I share things from a state of anger, but it's like this sacred rage and like that's coursing through my body, and it's like something deeper in me wants to speak. So I'm always sharing with what's alive versus, I don't know, the brain and mind telling me that I need to share, or being desperate, or all of that. So yeah, just wanted to put that in too.
Awesome, thank you. I noticed that one as well. As soon as there's the energy of I need a client, ain't no one coming for that. Crickets. You can see the tumbleweeds go past the post disappears into nothing. As soon as there's just an energy of I'm juicy, this came out of me, I think it's got nothing to do with anything. People message and are like, what programs do you have? What do you do? I want to buy it. Totally. Isadora, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on like the self-care definitely practices I have. I always have a glass of water near me, and I tend to like use it to cleanse right before, and just if I need to sip throughout to just move energy. I always have something to burn, especially during sessions where burping, a lot's moving. You just want to like just have something cleansing. I usually have a candle lit. That's really good for transformation. And then at the end, I always see myself and the person and just send all their energy back to them. I gather all my energy back to me. And I always test in, is there anything I'm carrying or anything to clear between me and the client? And then, you know, move through it. I really want to to this. It's like people are going to change and transform, like before your very eyes, you, and they will leave a completely different person. And so just really, yeah, making space for miracles. And I found every person I've taken through has been an incredible mirror for me, like things I need to learn, and we learn together and grow together. And so it really is like a very sacred relationship. And I think very like divine timing, the people the clients that I attract and that are attracted to me. Yeah, so just be you, and the people who want to show up and are attracted will. Most people just find me and they're just like, I don't know, I just need to do this with you. I'm like, somebody literally was like, the spirits told me said I have to find you, and that you're meant to doula me into my next birth. And this woman, I'm telling you, she came to me, she left a completely different human. Like I'm still like, whoa. So just like stay open, leave room for miracles, realize how sacred this work is. And also I would say, I really recommend doing an initial call before you say yes to somebody, also so you can feel if it's aligned. It's like a two-way street. It's not just if they want to work with you, you have to work with them. So definitely keep your integrity, like this makes sense. Keep things really clear financially and things, just so like everyone understands, so that you can really just be in the container together. And yeah, definitely self-care after session. Like, don't just run into something else. Take your time to ground back into the earth, eat some food, drink some water, process, kind of do the things that you're going to recommend them to do because you're in such a heightened state. And just remembering you're going through every time they're going through. So let yourself be a different person on the other side also. It's kind of cool to be in such transformational work because you're always in transformation and stepping into the next version of yourself. So yeah, I'm totally here for y'all outside of this. And if you just need somebody to talk through things with, it's fun, and we all get to learn from each other. And yeah, like everyone said, it's a very supportive community, a sense of like we're all on the similar mission. So there's no reason to have anything other than love and adoration for each other, and just happy this work is spreading so far and wide. So I think I'm complete.
Beautiful. Thank you, Isadora. Bridget, do you have anything you would like to add in closing?
No, I feel like everything's been really said beautifully. So yeah, and also I'd probably like to just reiterate or just, you know, share what Isadora said, that, you know, if you need support, anything at all, fully available, of course. You know, even it might feel like the most ridiculous question, but for me, no question is ridiculous. It's like the fact that the question's here, which is, I believe, is part of the work. The fact that it's here, that means it means something to you, and that's what's really important for anything. So yeah, again, that comes back to trust. So everything is important. Even if it's an ant crossing the table. Wow, okay, what's that about?
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bridget. Yeah, Zoe.
I just feel like adding one more final thing, because we've talked so much about like the feminine aspect of this, which is so beautiful, but don't forget the masculine aspect of holding this work and this business, which is like systems and structures. And this can be a really difficult part for a lot of us who are in this feminine work, is that it can be tough to put the systems and structures, whether it be like automated payment plans or, you know, agreements or like whatever it is in place. But the structure, the more structures like that you have within your business and these offerings, and the more the feminine can flow. So I just want to encourage everybody, yeah, it makes the process so much smoother. Once it's done, it's like, yeah, just so much easier. And so I want to encourage you guys to like reach out if you need support. And I know Zephyria has a lot of resources for this as well. Like I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody had about like, okay, what systems and structures do I need in place? You know, I have a checklist of things that need to happen before a client starts a journey with me. So things like, you know, application, agreement, payment plan, I set that up, and then there's like lots of little checkpoints before they actually start. And then like booking systems, things like that. So yeah, I just want to speak to the masculine aspect of business that allows, like holds this work and allows things to run really smoothly. And that might take a little work to put in place, but it's so worth it. So if anybody needs support or just wants to have a conversation about that, I'm really happy to answer any questions. And I know, Z, you have a lot of resources around this too. So yeah, that feels really complete for me. Just wanted to speak the masculine into the space.
I love it. Thank you. That's awesome. You should actually all have access to ecstatic business if for some reason you don't have access to that, and that's why that's been set up. So yeah, if you don't find anything in there, as Zoe's saying, like that offer of being able to reach out and ask the questions of other practitioners who are already doing it, that's like brings you leaps and bounds. Please, if I ever hear of anybody like, oh, I just spent 5 hours researching how to set up a calendar system, I'm going to come to your house and like give you a smack, although that could encourage you to do it. But I'd be like, ask us and ask the people that already have it set up. Don't spend your beautiful divine energy on researching things that other people here have researched, or learning how to do something that we can teach you how to do, because it's, yeah, your energy can be spent doing other things. Amazing. Are there any questions that want to come into the space? I think we've kind of covered quite a lot. So there's obviously more opportunity to ask questions. This isn't the like now you can never ask another question again. But if anything wants to come in, please. Yeah, Melanie.
So words. With the self-care and obviously taking care of ourselves, I wanted to ask something to hold the integrity of the work. Like say you've found you're just really overwhelmed by life in that moment, and you have a session booked with a client, and you know the self-care that you normally would practice isn't really happening for you. To hold that integrity is like, what can you do? Like, what are your options? Can you change session times? Like, yeah, like, I don't know. I guess that's all I'm asking.
Cool. So on the rare occasion, can definitely count it on less than one hand, I have changed session times because I feel like I can't fully show up for a client. Something's happening in my life, or I've not been able to fully do my upkeep on my self-care, or something has triggered me and I'm not in the right space. And I will actually hold deep honesty with my client and say, actually, I'm not in the right position. I'm not in the right energy to be able to hold the space that you need today. So like, I will be super, super honest with them. I never, ever have made up any excuse of like, oh, I don't know, something else. My car broke down and I have to reschedule. Like, I'm always super, super honest, and I let them know what's happening. Like I say, it's only happened a couple of times, but yeah, if it's like an extreme circumstance, then I feel like the best thing you can do is be honest and change the client time, rather than turn up on a session not being present, not being able to hold the energy in the space. But otherwise, like, I don't know, to me right now, my biggest job is self-care. That's my job, is to look after myself 110%, and then seeing my clients becomes easeful. And so I, like, at the moment where I'm at in my life, because I'm holding so much, it's almost obsessive. It's literally like that. I'm sorry, but me buying a sauna, and I just bought a bath, and having private yoga classes at my house. And like, I literally have an osteopath, a rolfer, a Pilates instructor, a personal trainer, like you name it. I've got this fucking team of people that I've slowly built over the years. The more I hold, the more support that I have. And I just keep on. I'm like, okay, I'm holding more clients, or I'm holding more programs. Like, I'm just about to be holding my Untamed program, and this, and a womb spiral retreat, and about to start teaching Spiral Practitioner. So the more things that I'm doing, the more obsessive I get about, well, I have to look after me first. And everything else becomes, well, not second, because I'm looking after myself so I can hold my clients. So I would say, to start to shift the mindset of, sometimes I feel like we can have this mindset of kind of like all the self-care stuff is a little bit like, oh, it's all just about me, and that's all I'm focused on is me, so I shouldn't look after myself as much as what I do, like whatever stories we have. And I feel like those need to shift and change to, my highest priority is to look after myself and my energy, so that I can hold the work that I'm doing in the world, so that my channel can be clear, so that I can fully be here and hold everything that wants to move through me in the world. And as you're stepping more and more and more into this work, the more and more kind of spirit, soul, whomever will start to ask of you. And so therefore, the more important it is for you to fully show up for yourself, and to fully show up for what wants to move through you and through your channel. So I hope that kind of answers that question. Yeah, Bridget.
Can I add to that, Z? Yeah, I'd love to just add a little more, because in all of our sessions, we're inviting our clients to take care of themselves. So if we're not doing that, then it's just, yeah, I had to cancel sessions a couple of weeks ago, and I was in such a bad space, and I actually felt myself wanting to push myself to do it. And then I just went, oh my God, no, there is just no way. How am I if I'm not honoring myself, I'm not honoring my client, I'm not honoring the work, I'm not honoring anything. So, and also they so deeply appreciated that I actually did that, because it kind of gives them permission to also go, I'm actually not well, or this isn't working for me, or just an availability to speak up and to speak their truth. So
yeah, thank you, Flex and Integrity. Yeah, Zoe.
Just want to add like something that's kind of like on the other side of this, because there are definitely times where it's I am actually don't have capacity to hold space, and I would be doing my client a disservice, and I'm honest with them, and I'll honor that, and I know when I feel that way. And then there are days where you're like, feeling a bit shitty, don't really want to maybe do a session, like you're in a bit of a funk. And noticing that resistance and not buying into that excuse, the same sort of like, don't really want to exercise, don't really want to eat healthy, don't. And then I do the session and I show up, and I'm like, feel fucking alive again. Sometimes the session is exactly what I fucking need in order to feel like lit up and healthy and vibrant and connected to like source and like this work. So noticing the difference between when you actually don't have capacity and you're like, you can't show up fully for the client, or if there's a little resistance, and that's actually what you need, is to show up and do the work. So yeah, that helps. I think Jamie just put a comment in there too.
Yeah, she's totally agreeing with you as well, 100%, because it's also your own shit could be coming up before the session too, and it like, or you're just the client, you're already feeling the client and you're feeling everything in the client's field right before the session. You're like, oh God, I don't want to do it. Yeah. Don't fall for that trick, because all that will happen if you fall for that trick, trust me, if you fall for the, oh no, well, and you don't do the session that needed to be done to shift the energy, now you're stuck in that energy until you can reschedule the client. So don't do that shit. That is not good. Cool. So I want to start to, Jamie, did you have anything you wanted to add? I'm suddenly feeling you. Is there something you wanted to bring in? No? Okay, cool. Amazing. So just to start to wrap us to a close, I want to say start, no matter where you are in this process, whether you're birthing now, whether you're birthing later, if the energy comes, start talking about it now. So actually we have Kelly, who's coming through in the next round. So she's not even started, not even done this before, is already now talking about womb spiral and preparing her clients for when she's able to take people through womb spiral. And what I'm watching is she's just kind of seeding it. She's talking about her experience, what her experience was, how amazing it was that it was womb spiral. This changed, that changed. I had this experience. I'm noticing these differences in me. And then all she's doing is just kind of putting a little, you know, can't wait till I can take people through, or I start my training in November, or like whatever her little line is, and it's starting to seed it. So start to seed it with your following of just talking about it. You can talk about your experience in the temple, talk about your experience of womb spiral, you can talk about what you're noticing shifting and changing in you, like whatever kind of wants to come through. You know, you could say like that they can ask you about, I want to know more about my experience, private message me. Also, don't forget, like we're in applications now for the next round of the temple. So also if people apply and they say they heard it from you, you earn like $1,000 commission. So just posting and sharing your experience actually could earn you some really good money. So that is also like, if you're kind of sharing, like this was my experience in the temple, it was super amazing. Can't wait till I'm a womb spiral practitioner. If you want to know more, private message me, like whatever kind of feels natural and true for you. Like we were saying before, none of us kind of post in that energy of like, oh, I've got to post something to earn some money. But if it feels like it's coming through and you're feeling juicy and like you, like, I don't know, we just had our becoming a practitioner call and I'm so excited to be in this amazing group of women and I feel really inspired, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but just start to seed it, because you'll find there actually are people who are out there listening for, like, I think Jamie, you had that experience this week of like, did a post about womb spiral and suddenly people are signing up who you've never heard of. There are people that know of it that are just waiting for the opportunity of the right person that they want to book in with. So you could find that you just write womb spiral and suddenly there's someone going, oh, I've been wanting to do that. And I've also been following you and I really like you. I want to do it with you. So yeah, do start seeding it. Yeah, Zoe, you were great and talked about it a lot. And so, well, like Zoe talked about it a lot. She managed to fill her programs and also she managed to bring in like purely naturally, not out of trying to, but also referred people into the program. So it's like, it will just kind of happen naturally. So do follow that energy if it's there for you. If there are any other resources, if you're like, oh, I wish that there was a resource on blah, or I wish there was something about blah, please tell us, we will create it for you. If you're not in the Ecstatic Business page, please ask Julie to add you into the Ecstatic Business page, because that has all the resources for setting up a business as well. I think that is all. Yeah, deep breath, everyone. Like, that was a lot of talking from all of us. So you just like kind of had this big download of words. So many words. Amazing. I would love to wrap by just going around and get more words and getting a word from everybody, a word or two on how you're feeling at this moment. And I'm just going to go in order. So Zoe.
Juiced up.
Bridget.
Alive.
Jamie.
Juicy.
Julie.
I feel inspired.
Yeah. Sophie.
Very grateful.
Thank you. Paige.
anticipatory.
Carly.
Supple.
Yum. Isadora.
Honored.
Thank you, Rachel.
I feel seen.
Beautiful. Thank you. Melanie.
Inspired and just in fucking awe of this work and all of you. What the fuck?
Amanda.
I'm feeling activated.
Thank you. Carmen.
I'm feeling like loved up and held and so grateful for all of you.
Thank you. Sarah. Sarah H.
Loving, landed, and emerging.
Thank you. Hafida.
Oh, I've got a couple of words. I checked in with nervousness. I'm checking out with flowing and ecstatic. It's like my number 4 birth. Like, fuck. Yeah.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you. And I can see Sarah's in the comments, inspired and filled with magic. Yum. How am I feeling? Feeling alive. It is very funny. I'm feeling alive and ready to get tattooed. I'm feeling like, as you do. I don't know. I'm feeling a tattoo coming in and messaging Jamie. I'm like, I can feel it when I feel them coming. It's coming. I'm like, oh my God, it's coming. I've got to go. It feels like it's kind of representing the birth of this one. As we move into the next one, there's this like new sacred geometry thing that wants to be on my arm. So as you're all birthing, I think I'm getting a symbol to represent birthing on my body. Amazing. Beautiful, darlings. If everyone wants to unmute yourselves. And oh, Jamie, did you have anything you wanted to add? Sorry. No, you're good. Amazing. If everybody wants to unmute yourselves as we. Oh, it's nice to feel you. Yeah. Oh. You just stay like this all day. I love you all so much. Awesome. Thank you so much, darlings. Enjoy the rest of your day. Next time we see you is on the birthing, but obviously we're on the message chats. Thanks, darlings.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Love you.
Bye.